Hey everyone, it's December 6th. I want to give you a couple of updates real quick. I'm going to fly out to Boston tomorrow through the end of the week. Then I'll be back on Monday, the following Monday, which is... This isn't very helpful. Okay, the 12th. I'll be back on the 12th. Having said that, a couple of things I want to say. One, accident attorneys. We found that there are a number of different vendors that have different expectations for what the calls can entail, like who can call them and stuff. And it's fascinating. So we decided, as long as we're doing this, in every given area that we're hitting, we're going after a few different vendors. We're going to have them each approve their own version of the model pages so that we can make sure to get the structure set for each of their demands, because it really does help to fill in the gaps, to maximize your income, maximize ours, maximize yours. See, everything we do for you, we get pulled along too. We get paid the other half, so we want to make sure to do it right. So anyway, accident attorney templates are being refined through QA. Content's going to be refined to follow. So it's going to be next week, actually, as we're getting all the different attorneys, because we're waiting. We actually reached out to a number who are approving stuff that we're doing. So we're going to have that finished for everyone and get their approval next week, whenever it is they get time to get around to it. And then we'll make those final tweaks. Add this into the terms for those guys. Add this into the privacy policy for those guys. Make sure these statements are near the phone number for those guys. Put the videos into the website for these guys. Take the videos out for those guys. That kind of thing. And then cases where some people don't want AdSense in there, we'll cycle between the pages. So by doing all of the structures like this, we give ourselves all the room in the world for netting the best effects. Okay, so yeah, kind of still a little bit of work in progress, but really refined and very beautiful spreading of the net across all the different things people want. That's cool. Now that sounds good, and that is good. With that, I want to talk about something else. And I mean, this is crazy. So with the first thing, if you don't know exactly why you want to get in, but you know you should, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase. If you don't know what you're doing to make money and you want us to do it for you, you should come here, select accident attorneys for claim disposition, get yourself whatever county you can afford. The bigger the county, the more it costs. The smaller the county, the less. But get into it, because we're going to research what you could afford, and we'll put you in a similar county level dollar-wise, but the best in that area for, number of accidents, actually, car accidents. And we're doing car accidents first. We find a lot of guys don't want to do work-related injury stuff yet, so we'll do that as a separate run. So anyway, hop in and get going. It's really a great idea. Okay. It's got to be $1,500 or up. If you do that, as a matter of fact, that's a good question. What do we got down here? $1,258. Yeah, go $1,500 and up. Okay, and there's the other thing I want to say. For the guys who are getting the offsets, you're getting the drug and alcohol rehab. I had a lot of guys say, isn't there kind of a mismatch between where the car accidents happen? That's kind of like poor neighborhoods, potholes in the roads and stuff. All these things add up. Bad behavior is more rampant in poor areas. So it's like, yeah. Well, that's very true by the statistics. When you look at them, you can do the match and see. It's like, well, okay, how does that go for the matching project for drug and alcohol recovery? Usually it's the parents who have more money can put people into these places. Like, that's a very good point. So with that in mind, we decided that we're just, because we want to absolutely maximize what's going on, we'll find the appropriate county that's within the range of what you're paying for the match, right? So whatever it is we do for accident attorneys, we'll do the same or a different county for addiction recovery, all right? So those are two projects, incredibly powerful, and getting in one, for now, it's like getting in one gets you in both. I've had a lot of people ask if I can extend that out while they fill in. So I realize I just have to give more people more time on that because it's December. A lot of people are in and out and they've got other things on their mind and they really want in. So I'm trying to be fair to everybody and make sure I can get you guys in. Okay, let me jump to something totally different. I think it's absolutely awesome. So when you talk about creating the pages, matter of fact, let me jump back to this dummy side again. I just want to make this visually clear, okay? So you have your web page, and as you scroll down, there's the content, but then there's all the other sections of the page, right? It's like, oh, wow, man, that's a lot of information in these other sections of the page. We can flip them off. We can turn all this stuff off. None of this stuff has to be visible. But then the question is, can we handle this stuff? And the answer is, yeah, we think we can. So I just want to show you what we're doing because it's huge, okay? And that's different than writing pages themselves. The pages are the pages, right? The contents that form the pages. But this stuff is a pre-footer, right? So I can write this page. I'll change out the images later. They're placeholder images. And this stuff follows suit because I left it attached for the page. But it's all the stuff that belongs to what? It's called theme option settings. So here's what I mean. If I go to global settings and I go to theme settings, is what used to be called theme option settings. In our Excel files, it's still TOS, but it's theme settings here in the MM panel. When I scroll down, I've got all the options for the pages, right? Box layout or fluid layout. Whether the sidebar widget is enabled globally or not, we can still choose per page. Global translator, header, breadcrumb banner, and all that jazz. Well, here's the thing. There are a lot of headings in here. There are a lot of paragraphs in here. There's even button text in here. A lot of this stuff could be written by AI, couldn't it? If we give it a direction, if we give it some guiding information. Some things AI cannot write, like links for images or for videos. Obviously, the AI wouldn't write that. And it wouldn't write the slide delay time, right? That doesn't make sense either. You know, that's for us manually to control. But headings, paragraphs, button text, what else? Service headings, service main heading, okay? And then we've got all these headings, descriptions, and button text going down here for the different elements of the page, right? It's all the different things that happen. Then we've got stuff like, ready to kickstart your project now. It's a service's bottom heading, but a heading with a button text, right? Again, we cannot AI rewrite the link, but we can AI rewrite these things. And then we have our About Us and how that works. And we have a bunch of other things, right? So as you go down, the more there is to sections here, you might think, wow, that's too many sections. I can't deal with that. I have no idea how I'm going to go writing all this stuff for all these sections, right? The answer is then we'll start by flipping them off, right? You can always disable a bunch of those sections until you get back around to them. And then when you enable them, they will become enabled on all the pages where you set them to appear, which is great. But you can enable one a day or something. Anyway, having said that, the question is, how easy can we make it? Here's what changed. We're coming at this from two angles at once, which I think is really cool. We recognize that there's things like headings, and then there's things like phrases, kind of a single sentence. Then there's a description. Yeah, it could be one sentence, but could also be 2 or 3 sentences, right? Then there's stuff like button text, which is like a call to action. Write a call to action for, write a fast pitch for. So once we realized all that, and the fact that this encompasses a lot of the theme settings page, we said, is it possible for us to auto-generate a lot of that? And here's what we realized. We're going to put a button next to each thing. Let me come up to something that makes sense. About heading. There's going to be an AI button there. So whatever you have in here, you hit the AI, and it'll basically rewrite this to be a good header, right? Sub-sentence, you hit the button for that, it'll write a phrase. Description, you hit a button for that, it'll write a description. Now that brings up the next thing. Guess what's going to be next to the AI button for each of these? the number of words that you allow. So you can control very simply, and there will be default settings for these, but you can simply say, I only want like maximum 8 words, or 4 words, 5 words. I only want I want a maximum of like 12 words. I want a maximum of like 50 words. Okay? So by being able to do that, when you hit the AI button, it'll stick within your parameters for what it creates. And then since it's sitting right there, you could fine tune it. Or if it feels off, just hit the button again. Now, since it's working from whatever you have in here, if you're not even sure what you want to say yet, you can put keywords. Professional, creative agency, best in town, and hit the button, or even best in Chicago. I should be clear, right? And hit the button for AI, and it'll treat that like guiding principles, and it'll create a header out of it. Okay? And so then you can copy what your header is and paste it in here and hit the AI, and it'll see that, and it'll rewrite it longer because you gave it more words. And then you can take that and you can paste it in here, rewrite it longer, it gives you more words. You know what? What's that telling you? That it's possible to create a cascading model of things that happen on the page, right? So going from the bottom up, that's how this is done, one line at a time. But the functions will be here to manually handle these. Well, guess what that leads to? What about top down? What about an autofill theme setting? Where you can put in the main title and you can choose the tone. And your main title can be whatever it is. Best, what is it? Carpet cleaners in Chicago. And you hit generate, and guess what it's going to try to do? Fill the page. You know why? Because in the background, it's going to generate a bunch of titles. Then it's going to use those to generate matching phrases. It's going to use those to generate matching descriptions. And it's going to be like title 1 with phrase 1, description 1. Title 2 with phrase 2, description 2. Title 3 with phrase 3, description 3. And it'll create as many as it needs to fill in the standard stacks of boxes here, top down. So all the different sections will stick together. That'll take care of a lot of the work. Then just go back and fine tune on the page all by yourself, whatever it generated, because you still have your buttons to do that. Is that cool or what? I think that's awesome. So the idea that we can create a format like that for the theme option settings is killer. You know what else I think is killer? To be able to create even a second version of this. See, this one says enter a title and choose a tone and go. But another one is this. Why don't we do it similar to the notion of the command generator, where we're going to create the content with commands so that it can look something like this. Let me just show you. Enter the number of variations. It wouldn't be that. It would just be enter the main title and enter, you wouldn't need word count. Enter, you don't even need keywords. You'd say enter the main title and here are the subtitles that we want to deal with on the page, and hit go. That way it can go, oh, this is going to be one section to create a title and therefore a phrase and therefore a description. This is section 2, so title 2, phrase 2, description 2. Section 3, section 4, section 5. And then it's just going to start pasting in the 1s, then the 2s, then the 3s, whatever applies on the page. Because not all 3 sections will always apply. Okay? How's that for cool? We're going to make this functionality available in all the websites anyone gets off Website Installer. Okay? So no matter what you get off Website Installer, and it doesn't matter when you get it, as soon as that functionality is released, we're going to push it out through all of your sites, your client sites. By the way, clients, those of you who have gotten either templates from here or here Have you logged in and checked lately to see if you have any new functionalities? We've been releasing them, so take a good look. Go try out your tools, see how far you can get. It's really awesome. So we've just got stuff coming out. We're adding stuff. We'll do more training updates and stuff as we go, but this is really insane. What do you think is possible eventually if we're doing something like that? Maybe these toss pages can write themselves in stacks or rewrite themselves in stacks. If we create a model and it works, it's good, then we can create other models from it for the super affiliate sites, say. So for those of you who want to take your site and back it with a bunch of super affiliate sites, we can have the model that doesn't just generate the pages, but it also generates the theme option settings page. How's that for cool? All right, thought you'd like that.